This is the Demystifying Mental Toughness podcast, hosted by David Charlton, and you're listening to this podcast to help you build your own mental toughness, or so that you can support other people or your clients better. Either way, you will learn more about developing this plastic personality trait that all but guarantees that you will perform better and lead a more prosperous life. Hi there, I hope your week's going well. Ours is certainly interesting in this household as we've returned from holiday and got a little puppy who's keeping us on our toes. Now, today's podcast episode, it's a solo episode where I reflect on the previous two episodes, and it's all about reaching your potential regardless of your profession. So I'm wondering, do you ever ask yourself this question? How can I reach my potential? In my book, this is a very, very important question that you should ask yourself from time to time, regardless of whether you're a business professional, a psychologist, a physio, a coach, or an athlete. I'd encourage you to have a process in place where you go back to it every 3 months and you question yourself. Now, this episode, I'm going to play 2 short bites from the previous 2 episodes, which relate to goal setting and dreaming big, where we can learn a lot from the business world. So here we go. Here's Kevin Stansfield, followed by Christina Flach's fantastic insights.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to use the word resilience, mental toughness, resilience. And that's one thing that I think they've proven that successful people have that over and above unsuccessful people. So what is it that gives certain people that resilience to carry on? And I think sometimes it's just bloody mindedness. The common factor I see is clarity of the goal. If you've got clarity of where you want to be, you've got resilience. People who don't have clarity of the goal, or the goal is a bit wishy-washy and, well, I want that, but don't really want it, then it's always easier to give up than it is to push through. And you'll see that from any walk of life, people who have lost limbs in the war, their belief in where they want to be and the person they want to become and what they want to achieve is so great that it drives them through. So I have a little formula, which I call the formula for life success, which is BE times do, equals have. So if you want to be successful at anything, you've got to have those 3 things. Who do I need to be? My internal thoughts, knowledge, and skills. Do is my actions, so my physical activity. What am I prepared to actually do? And have is what do I want to have? So if I said to you, you've got to have all those 3 to be successful, but which of those 3 is the most important in order for success to happen? Out of those 3 things, which one would it be? The be, the do, or the have?
Yeah, it's got to be the have, hasn't it?
It's the have. Now most people, when I ask that, will say, "Oh, it's the do." You've got to do stuff, and those tend to be the busy fools. That they jump on the hamster wheel and think doing more is actually going to get them to where they want to go. The ones that choose the be are generally the ones that like to learn, and they read and they'll go on courses and they'll absorb all this knowledge, but they don't actually do what it takes. The people that have got the have, and they've got such clarity and desire to have what they want to have, that they then be what they need to be and do what they need to do. And if you look at that in any sport, you see the people at the top, the Roger Federers, the Djokovic's, it's a real new sort of generation of people that have won so much that they have still got the drive to actually achieve it. And I don't know if you picked up at Wimbledon, they interviewed Kyrgios before, and they were saying, so what's driving you? Do you really want to win? Yeah, I really want to win Wimbledon, but I think once I've won it once, that'll be it.
Yeah, I did hear that.
And as soon as he said that, I thought, game over. You're never going to beat Djokovic with that mental attitude.
Well, I kind of set a goal for the week, and then for 6 months, and then the year, and then maybe 5 years. And I write them down, and I just and then I also try to be a bit kinder to myself than I used to be. Before, if my company wasn't making a certain amount of money, if I wasn't getting things done the way I wanted, I really would beat myself up, which is pointless. It's not helping anyone. And I would never treat anyone the way I was treating myself. So a friend of mine brought that to my attention. She just said, why are you beating the crap out of yourself when you would never do that to anyone on the planet? It is not serving you well. And once I started thinking that, being kinder to me, things just kind of started flowing a little bit better. And working hard, it's amazing. What's that quote about the harder you work, the better your luck is? I don't say no. I still work as a makeup artist, even though I run my company and I have agents. And so when my agent calls or a producer or someone calls about a job, I just say yes, because I am so grateful to be able to have an opportunity to work on a different team. And I need that creative outlet. As a makeup artist, running a business is, intense and hard and fun, but I like to be on set and I love meeting new people and I love to travel. And so it's a perfect balance for me. So I think if people can have, a business, I've told my kids, figure out what you love doing so much that you don't mind not getting paid, and then figure out how to get paid, and then figure out where you want to be. I like to be kind of all over the place. I was in Denver last week working on a TV show for Fox. I went to LA for 6 weeks with Tyler Florence working on a TV show. And so I have found the perfect balance in my life, but I've created these opportunities. And I think that's what you have to do. Figure out what it is you want to do, and the sky's the limit. I don't think there's any dreams that can't be fulfilled. I did a makeup lesson for a teenager a few months ago, and she was so lovely. She came over and I taught her how to do some just basic makeup skills, and she just blossomed. And 2 weeks later, I got a note from her saying, I have to share something with you. I felt so great about myself after we met that I applied for this study abroad program in Prague for art, for photography. And I got it. I'm going to Prague. And she goes, you told me that I could get anything in life I wanted. And I just thought, oh my God, I'm so happy to hear that I inspired someone. But how great that, and she knew now that like dreaming and setting up goals for her future is just going to create such an exciting and dynamic life. We have to create these things. They're not going to create on their own.
So I'm hoping from listening to those clips, you may be able to ask yourself some more good questions. You might be able to reflect on your approach to whatever it is that you do. And it might be that you're a positive person just like Christina, and you really enjoy chasing your goals. In the mental toughness world, we would say you're high in goal orientation. You love setting goals. You love challenging yourself. And let's face it, that is the way that you will reach your potential. However, as we know, there's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be setbacks. So in my experience, certainly in sport, there are a lot of athletes and coaches who do dream big. But sadly, there's only a small few who actually look in the mirror long and hard enough to then squeeze out the most that they can from their time and their resources. And often what happens then is they live with that nagging feeling of, if only I'd done this, or I wish I'd tried that. Or maybe they might live in blissful ignorance to what might have been. The result, it ends up that their skills, their talents are underdeveloped, and they really could have achieved much, much more. So what is it that stops them achieving their full potential? Well, here's 3 reasons. Number 1, failure to take ownership. So Freddie Mercury once sang, "Time waits for no one." And this is a very, very significant line. Unfortunately, athletic careers can be very short in comparison to non-sporting careers. So time can disappear in the blink of an eye, very, very fast, rapidly dissolving any potential that you had in the process. And a danger sign that you need to be aware of is when you begin to drift, and when you just let events and situations take care of themselves without you actually questioning yourself, your mindset, your approach, or getting others to question your approach. So to make every second count, I really encourage you to ask yourself, am I allowing my sporting career or my career in general, just adrift. Or maybe you want to ask a friend or someone you trust what they think. As Christina said, it's your responsibility to keep asking yourself questions. Don't wait for luck or for another day. Really take ownership of your skills, your talents right now. Number 2 is not understanding why you play or coach in your sport, or not understanding why it is you do what it is that you do. Now, every athlete and every coach has potential is then converted into skills, into experiences, and possibly more potential and more skills, more experiences. That is, if you set the right goals and then you go on to take appropriate and massive action. Now, if you think of 2 young athletes who may start out playing sport together as children with the same potential, yet will likely have 2 very, very different potential profiles. Youngster A may be a drifter with no goals, or perhaps they listen to the wrong people and they go on to choose poor goals for themselves. Then their motivation dwindles and they don't convert their potential. In contrast, youngster B uses that drive, uses that ambition wisely. They rarely lose sight of why it is that they play their sport. They reflect in a strategic way. They set great goals. They use their time effectively to achieve those goals. And being very clear about your why and how your goals are linked to this why is going to help you achieve your potential. It's also going to help you build self-efficacy and confidence. You're going to have an inner self-belief that you've got a much better chance at achieving your potential. And as we know, there's no shortcuts to success for athletes, for coaches, for any professional. Successful conversion of your potential comes from having the right habits, the right processes in place, making small but conscious steps towards your dreams and your ambitions every day. Think of it this way. For every day that you do the right things, it's like putting £1 in a jam jar each day. You're unlikely to notice the contribution today or the next day or the next week, but you will in 3 months or 6 months, when that jam jar is half full or full of pound coins. Now, the third thing is fear. That can hold you back from reaching your potential. Simply setting the right goals won't help you achieve what it is that you want to achieve. Yet having a steely inner self-belief that your goals are going to work for you, that you're going to put the work in, that you're going to commit to the promises that you've made yourself is going to help you without a shadow of doubt. Timothy Galway, the author of the Inner Game books, he describes the equation P equals P minus I. Or this is performance equals potential minus interference. So in other words, your performance is equal to what you are capable of when you remove interference, which can be real obstacles, or it might be mental obstacles when you do get in your own way, such as fear. Some food for thought for you there. I sincerely hope that you have enjoyed this short episode. Please do give it some thought. Get your pen and paper out, make some notes. And you might also want to actually have a look in the show notes. I've put a link to a performance profile method, which is actually quite generic to any sport, or if you're a business person, business professional or practitioner, you'll be able to use it and adapt it to suit your own needs. So feel free to download it, complete it, and then reflect and refine every 3 months. That would be my advice. It's an exercise which could likely take you about an hour if you do it thoroughly. Even better, get somebody else to have a look and to contribute to. Maybe a friend, a mentor, a coach, or a psychologist just like me. It's going to be a big, big help in improving your performance and, importantly, developing your mental toughness too. Have a fantastic week ahead, and please do give the show a 5-star rating or a positive review in Apple or Spotify or any of the other platforms. That way we continue to reach more and more people and make a positive impact in people's lives. If you enjoyed this episode of the Demystifying Mental Toughness podcast with David Charlton, do check out my website, sport-excellence.co.uk, and my online sports psychology resources. The Sport-Excellence website has essential resources for anyone looking to build their own mental toughness or the mental toughness of their athletes or teams, or if you want to achieve peak performance more often or optimal functioning. The Sport Excellence website has everything you need to keep moving forward and thrive. So go on, head over to sport-excellence.co.uk to find out more.